what's new in the world of, or what's going on in the world of health and water and science around that?
Well, this has been a very big week for me, personally. The reason being is I have been shouting from a rooftop talking about hydrogen water for about a decade now. And a very well-respected...
Maybe we should say what hydrogen water is first.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So hydrogen water is should be filtered water with that's structured but has the hydrogen molecule H2, that's why I'm the H2 water expert, dissolved into it. And the hydrogen helps reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, repair gut health, helps you restore and maintain a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And so you know Gary Brecka, right?
Yeah.
You probably know him personally. He's been talking a lot about hydrogen water and its ability to just help with that metabolic stress and get you in that balanced lifestyle again. And it's really, really cool to see because, again, I've been studying this, looking at all the peer-reviewed studies on it for about a decade now. And to see more mainstream people talking about it is pretty awesome.
Okay, so the science of hydrogen is that your body produces 10 liters of hydrogen a day.
Yeah.
Under an average amount of stress, moderate to average, you're down to about 5 liters of production per day.
Yeah.
And under a lot of stress, you're down to 1 to 2 liters or 0.
Yeah.
So hydrogen, and why don't you tell people what hydrogen does in the body from a health point of view?
From a health point of view, hydrogen being as small of an element and H2 as small a molecule as it is, it'll actually permeate your cell membrane. It'll get into the cells inside your body, and that's just the first step of what it does. Once it does that, it neutralizes the most cell-damaging free radicals in your body, just from oxidative. That's the cause of oxidative stress, and then it actually converts that into water, hydrates it at a cellular level, and allows for a very easy way for your body to expel it. I usually would say about through sweat or urine, but as you mentioned just before this, also through the breath out of your mouth.
Yeah, I mean that's the one everybody misses, is that 70% of the water goes out here.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between cellular hydration, I guess, and the other thing we would say would be digestive hydration?
Well, digestive hydration, I mean, it is, so I think what you're really getting at is what's the difference between alkaline water and hydrogen water. The digestive hydration is hydration that you're absorbing through your digestive intestinal tracts. Cellular hydration is the hydration that's actually getting into your cells and hydrating you at the core level of where you want to be hydrated. It's not necessarily about how much water you drink or eat. It's about the type of water that you drink or eat. So structured with hydrogen is the best.
And how much you retain.
Yeah.
And so then that begs the question is, can you be digestively hydrated and not cellularly hydrated?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so people will say, I get this all the time. No, I'm hydrated good. I have good bowel movements. I seem to go, but then you test them for hydration, or you test their skin and they're dehydrated.
Yeah.
And that's where the water is kind of coming in. It's making good with the food and going out, but for the most part, it's not absorbing through the cells and through the tissues the way it's supposed to.
Exactly. And that's where the hydrogen will take things a level above, as well as your, with diatomaceous earth, getting silica in there. That will also help with actual cellular hydration, and get you to that core hydration. I also hear it all the time. Oh, I drink lots of water. I'm really hydrated. My pee's clear all the time. Well, sorry to say, but if your pee is clear all the time, that means the water that you're drinking is going right through.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, these are some of the myths about urine and what is good and what is healthy, and they're total myths. Because people say that to me all the time, but right now, I have found in testing tens of thousands of people and helping hundreds and thousands of people, if not millions at this point, go through these programs, I have found that if you're not taking an exogenous form, an outside form of silica right now, that your body is not hydrating properly. Because minerals have to be absorbed, and minerals can't be absorbed unless there's an adequate amount of silica, which is an element. The element of silica requires for the minerals to absorb, then for the water to be held. So what's happening now when people use filtration devices typically out there, they're actually taking out minerals.
Yeah. So your reverse osmosis, your distilled water, the good side is you're taking all of the contaminants out. The bad side is you're also taking all of the minerals out. And you need those minerals there. Your body needs those minerals. One of my sayings is, if you don't filter your water, you become the filter for your water. But it also applies to, if your water doesn't have minerals in it, you become the minerals for your water. And so it'll actually start depleting your mineral content in your body, which is low for most people as it is.
So water is a universal solvent. So there's a good one, reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
What is reverse osmosis doing to people?
Well, it's actually causing oxidative stress because your body is working harder, because it's pulling the minerals out of your body. It is typically very acidic, between a pH of 3 and 5 a lot of times when we test the water. Because a lot of people, especially in the U.S., you have very hard water in the U.S., so a lot of people are using those salted water softeners. And so they need the reverse osmosis water for system for their drinking water. Well, that's what they think, because they're using, you do, because you can't drink that salted water. One, it's gross, and two, that's going to cause problems on its own, especially if you have cardiovascular or kidney issues. And so, the reverse osmosis water is going through you. And in the same way that, like, when water is coming down from the mountains and running through the rocks and gathering the minerals from that, it's doing the same thing in your body.
So we have minerals that are being taken out, and then reverse osmosis, we call it dead water.
Yeah.
I tell people you should never drink reverse osmosis ever.
Yeah.
And then so the other one was, well, I put sea salt in my water. It should be good. I put Celtic salt or Himalayan salt because that has all these minerals. But this is where, if you don't have exogenous amounts and large amounts of silica right now, that salt that you're taking is not getting absorbed. Yeah.
It's still also salt in dead water, right? The water, just like our bodies are an electric, or have an electrical charge. Our bodies need water with that electrical charge as well, and that's why that's what the hydrogen water will do. The way that you're adding the hydrogen in it is one, restructuring the water and giving you, and then two, giving you that hydrogen, which will get you that cellular hydrogen.
So when water's in H2O format, it's looking for things to take and put in it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that people are now knowing not to do is they're knowing not to put their water in plastic.
Yep. Yeah. Because you're creating more problems by getting those microplastics into your water and then that going into your body.
Okay. So what about the ones that say BHAP free, but it's still in a plastic, right? It's more than just the chemical. It's also the structure of the water and what that structure does, how it signals your body and what hormones it produces. So when I put water into plastic, irrespective of what it does chemically, the structure of it is creating estrogen in my body.
Yeah, that's a big, huge problem for women and men. You know, there's men have increased estrogen levels and decreased testosterone levels for this and a number of other reasons as well. But the estrogen levels in women is lowering the progesterone levels in women as well. And that's why we're seeing so many issues when it comes to pregnancy and birth and things like that. Again, among other things. But
so what about you see people like, okay, in the cellular level of the body, copper is our electricity.
yeah.
So what about, you see people now putting water into copper vessels?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good step in the right direction.
Okay.
The things that you also need to make sure of is, one, that it's filtered properly, but two, has the minerals in it as
Sure.
other minerals to support.
Assuming the water is good. I'm going
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So we used to, as a society in North America, we used to have copper pipes in the house.
Yeah.
Now we have what kind of pipes?
The old PVC pipes.
Plastic.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've taken all the housing and created estrogen, progesterone breeding machines in our house water, and it works both in our ingestion and in our showering and our bathing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and what you're also what you get in a big way. This is why over 45% of homes in the U.S. have forever chemicals in their water, and those are not things that you want to be absorbing, drinking.
You know, I always ask myself every day, what am I doing today that in 20 or 30 years from now I'm going to go, that was stupid? And that's one of those things. It's like everybody that, okay, let's put plastic piping in, copper's bad. Copper wasn't bad. Copper was actually good, but they convinced everybody copper was bad. And now it's, well, a copper pipe, you don't want that copper pipe, we're going to put this plastic in.
Yeah.
So the entire North American continent went to putting plastic in there. Well, not even North America, G20 nations.
Yeah.
And it became the standard. So what we're doing is we're taking the testosterone out of society.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, you can see it on many different levels and the effects that that's having. But that's a whole other conversation. You know, I wanted to mention about the copper piping. There's a funny fact about copper piping. If you have copper piping in your home and you get a whole home reverse osmosis system, you will have leaks because the reverse osmosis will leach from the copper and it will wear down on the copper pipe. So again, that's a good demonstration of kind of what's happening in your body as well.
That's it. It's so confusing for people, and this is part of why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, no, water is, in my opinion, the basis to pretty much everything. Aside from air that you breathe, water in your hydration levels is just as important. But it is a very confusing conversation for many people because it's been made confusing, I would say, on different levels, on many levels.
So now we have water bottles. First of all, we have filtered water everywhere because we can't drink our tap water. So tap water, I think it's like 80% of it is been tested, been polluted, and that just makes me question the other 20% anyways.
Yeah.
So we can't drink our tap water anymore, and technically we shouldn't even be showering or bathing in it. That's why we use vitamin C shower heads in our house in Lions Bay. Actually, we have a filtration system on the house, and you do that. You do whole house filtrations as well. Yeah. So, but then we still stuff it back into this damn plastic, and it shoots to the house in PVC or plastic. So somebody was saying here, I have 100-year-old home, and they got copper pipes. Yeah, it's like, whoa, you're the lucky one. Yeah. It's kind of like you're the water unvaccinated.
Yeah, well said. I like that.
So we've got all of confusion around this, and some of it we can't get away from right now. It's not reasonable that people are going to be ripping up their homes and taking out their pipes and stuff like that. So let's talk about some of the ways that people can mediate the damage. Okay, so one of the ways is that they can put in a whole house filter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the other ways is that they can use like vitamin C shower heads.
Yeah, and as well as if that's for showering, if you're bathing, there's vitamin C tablets that you can put in that will, at the very least, dechlorinate and take out chloramines from your water. That, I will say, is your biggest concern with showering and bathing is chlorine and chloramines. The reason being is, yes, your skin is your biggest organ, but if that was what was absorbing the chlorine in your body, then swimming pools wouldn't exist, right? So it's actually what happens is when you are showering in hot water, it dissolves into the vapor, and that turns into chlorides, and it's the breathing that in. When you're bathing in it, yeah, you're bathing in hot water, which is opening your pores, which is allowing the chlorine in. But chlorine and chloramines are your biggest concern when it comes to showering and bathing.
Okay, so what if I have an ionizer? The systems that we market with you are ionizers. So what if I have an ionizer, but I don't have a proper filtration system in front of it?
I cannot. This is one of the very reasons why I choose, and you chose, and we choose Alkaviva and Ultra Water is because of their filtration. Not only does it come standard with the 16-stage dual filtration, but if you need further filtration, which is the case in some places, they have that right there on hand that will go with the warranty. If you don't have the filtration, what happens with ionized water is it's becoming more bioavailable. And so is everything else that's in the water, which is all the more reason that you filter it properly before it goes through that ionization, because
so
you don't want to be making...
For like a lot of the systems out there, I'm not even going to use the name, but it's a big network marketing one that has a system, but it only filters out
chlorine.
Basically chlorine.
No, it's chlorine and chlorine alone. It's one stage filtration. Those that have been looked into it, we don't need to use names. I completely agree. You know what we're talking about. It filters out chlorine and chlorine alone. That is just
so then you're
drives you mental.
Because the technology was developed and we didn't have polluted water.
Yeah. It is an older technology that our water wasn't nearly as polluted as it is. We've talked about some other things like your BPAs and PFAS, the forever chemicals. Heavy metals are an obvious one, but one of the ones that we haven't brought up too, that is also madly affecting your estrogen, testosterone levels, is pesticides. Pesticides is a huge one. And there's ones like atrazine, glyphosate. All of those are really doing havoc on your endocrine system, your overall immune system, your gut. It's actually one of the main reasons why you need to supplement with hydrogen, because it's damaging your gut, and that's where the hydrogen is created to begin with.
Right. So this is it's a tough world to navigate when you think about it this way. That's why the first thing I say to people is your first place to go for water is food. Get your water from, you have organic produce, organic vegetables. You get your water from grapes, from lettuces, all that. That's the first place to go. Then to supplement my water is to have structured water that is properly mineralized, and that's where the Alkaviva or a machine like that comes in. Now, Alkaviva is not the only machine. There's other machines out there that do that. I mean, this is the one we work with. Yeah. And I found, because number one is eventually you're going to need support. I've needed support a couple of times. We've got them in different places. Yeah. And first of all, I love the fact that there's a lot of support there. That makes a big difference to me. Mm-hmm. The second thing is the 16 stage dual filtration system is taking out all those chemicals, because when I get ionized, if I'm ionizing things like fluoride or fluorine and mercury,
enzymes,
like
pharmaceuticals, yeah.
Yeah, so basically I'm taking them, putting them on steroids, and then drinking them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's
somebody
making
asked,
go ahead.
somebody asked about the vitamin C tablets in the water.
Yeah.
So like you can get bath bombs and stuff like that, but it's vitamin C based, and usually you can find them locally, like Amazon has them quite a bit, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the exact same thing with the shower filters. Like, yeah, I have them, we have them, but it's it's getting wherever you need to get it from, get it to yourself sooner than later.
Okay, here's a
so you can get the report.
So what about putting mineral drops in distilled water? Fair question. Distill the water, bring everything out, so it has nothing left. So now it's like reverse osmosis times 10.
Yeah.
So then I put mineral drops in it. Okay, well, I'm getting some minerals back. That's good. But then what is it still lacking?
It's still dead. It's still dead water. It's just like reverse osmosis. It doesn't have that charge to it. Look up if you haven't. I know you know about it, Gary, but if anybody watching, look up the Emoto water tests where he puts puts energy on these different waters. And what's really cool is the water that was taken from one of the dams that was very, very polluted. Then he had a monk come in and bless the water for like 15 minutes. And the water structure before, it's just a mess. It looks like absolute pandemonium. The water structure after looked like a beautiful like snowflake. It's the water has memory, and your body is 75% water. So it's pretty, it doesn't take too much effort to put the pieces of the puzzle together knowing that the energy in that water is going to make a difference in the energy in the water in your body.
As kids in school, they do the test where they grow the plants and they say bad things to one plant and they say good things. And kids all over the world do this test. And the plants they talk to are good because you're blessing or structuring the water in the plant. Water is the life. But they'll do that, and I get this all the time. Parents will, oh wow, they'll talk about it, they'll agree upon it, but then they go, well, yeah, but what are you talking about water? What are you talking about? Blessing water, putting hands on, structuring water? That's all bullshit. I'm like, well, how come it worked for your kid's science project?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it goes down to obviously how you talk about and to yourself too. And we grow in the same way. It's talking to yourself, talking to that water that has memory, and whether it's coming externally, exogenously, or endogenously inside your body already, it makes a difference what frequency is being applied to that water.
So I've noticed something. So a lot of spiritual practitioners that I work with, they'll take food that's not organic or water, and they'll do things like 995. They'll bless it and all that. What I've personally found is, because I know them over years and decades now, is that their bodies are still shut down.
Yeah.
So it's like that. I guess at some point that may have worked, but it just doesn't seem to work. And I mean, these are really heavy-duty spiritual practitioners. Yeah. I think it's because our bodies and our own intentions are dumbed down right now because we are what we consume, and we consume not only the food and the stuff we watch on TV, but we consume the energy of the people that we live in.
Yeah.
There's a saying that pigs don't know that pigs stink.
Yeah, absolutely. And fish don't know that they're in water, right? Yeah. That's just that's their world to them. And that's why I say, your environment is everything. And that goes to, the food that you're getting, the food that you're eating, the drinks that you're getting and drinks that you're eating, the air that you're breathing and what's in that, the EMFs that are being applied to the air, but also the environment up here.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's why there's no one cookie cutter answer. There's no one solution. There's all sorts of different variables that come into play when it comes to what's happening inside your body in a physiological standpoint.
Okay, so Okay, let's simplify our whole conversation today. Let's go for a basic checklist.
Yeah.
What am I looking for? I mean, I'm not going to be able to change the pipes in my house most likely right now. That's not a practical thing.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that I can do to make my life better?
Going from most cost effective is the perfect pitcher and removing 99.9% of the contaminants before you ingest that water.
Okay, and that's kind of like a Brita, but it's like a Brita on steroids. It's super cheap. It's what, is it $100 or something like that?
$80.
$80. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that's step one. If you don't have the ability to change, you don't have the money to buy an ionizer, it's $80. You can start at least removing contaminants from your water.
Yep. Absolutely. That and the beautiful thing about the filtration in those and in our hydrogen ionizers is that it keeps the minerals in there. Yeah. And so next thing, have someone ask to show it again.
Yeah, and that's you can find that on you can go to our products and our partners, and you can go to Alcaviva and you can find it there, right? Yeah.
You can just message me. I'm happy to help you help everybody get that's what I do.
So that's it. That's the least expensive, easiest way for someone to start. Then the next one would be.
The next one would be after that. There's 3 different models of the H2 ionizers. And they all come standard with the 16-stage dual filtration. I'm happy to help out with a discount if need be. There's payment plan options, even a payment plan that allows you to stretch it out over a year without paying any interest or any hidden fees or any credit check or anything like that.
Hey, so some other things that you can do for fluoride, fluorine, and chloride, chlorine and stuff like that is you can get vitamin C bath bombs. That's a good one. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, before that, for bathing, get yourself a shower filter. I have those available. Get yourself the vitamin C dechlorination tablets, and that would be the next step into that. But I will say that, those prices will start adding up over time. It's really dependent on where your financial situation is, and I get it. I live in BC. It stands for bring cash. So I get it. I try to help people in every way on that aspect.
Okay, then the next step up is actually the ionizers, the units we have, and they range in price from where to where.
$15.95 to $33.95. But again, we can work something out price wise with the payment plan.
And then for some people who can, I've seen people do this, a whole house filtration system.
Yeah, the whole home filtration system that we have is absolutely incredible because one, if you have hard water, we have a salt-free water softener that isn't removing the minerals and replacing it with salt. It's conditioning the minerals so that the hardness is reduced, so you're not getting all that scale in your pots, your pans, your kettles, on your windows, and on your car after you wash a car, and you're taking it out of the water that you're bathing in, washing your dishes in. And then above that, if you still want the hydrogen to help you, that we have what's called a healthy home package, and you can combine it all together.
Okay, that's cool. So, and this is like, you're never going to be perfect. Like somebody said, what's the perfect pitcher made out of? It's made of plastic. So we're not perfect, but it's about reducing the amount of stuff that your body has to deal with. And if it's dealing with those chemicals and the pharmaceuticals, the pesticides, the herbicides up front, then after that, everything else, your body doesn't have the ability to deal with everything else. So you got to take that out first.
Yeah, your body's not working as hard as it was to work against those pesticides and herbicides and everything else. It's in a case like this, I refer to Jim Rohn, and his a famous saying of his is, "Do what you can, do the best you can."
Yeah, at the end, that's all you can. But where I have zero tolerance is when somebody is blowing money on vacations and all kinds of disposable stuff and all that, and they're like, I just can't afford it, but they're spending money elsewhere. I get it if it's not in the budget and that, but it's like, it's about prioritizing, and this is the vehicle. if this ain't working, you know, like if we don't take time and for our health today, if we don't, then we are going to be paying for our health later on.
Yeah, absolutely. At one point in your life, you will be spending money on your health. Yeah. Doing it in the proactive way is infinitely less expensive than doing it in the reactive way. I can guarantee that. But yes. The good thing is, and that's what I love about what Gary Brecka is talking about, is it doesn't matter what age you are. It just matters that you start when you start. Yeah. Right?
I mean, it's like you can't change what already has happened. It's like start today with the intention. And a lot of it is people like, I don't want people to get, oh, it's so bad. I've hurt myself over so many years. It is what it is.
Yep.
Start today. Do the best you can today, whatever that is. I mean, I had some people, if you have like a Berkey and that's all you got, use your Berkey, but then go get a big glass pitcher, put some rocks and some crystals in there in the bottom, put it in there, and start to restructure your water. Like, do whatever you can to make it better. Yeah. It's just don't continue to do the same. That's all.
Yeah, understand that water is the foundation to all healthy lifestyles. Hydration is more than, it's 75% of the equation when it comes to an optimal healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. Shayne, it's been a great talk today. We've got
one more thing before I go quickly, sorry, because I see, as a lot of people in here that already have the system know from me, when you order from me, that I will also order you a bottle of Power Kirk 30, Fascial Flow, and Fascial Foundation. But the key is it needs to be ordered through me, and I need to know your order number so that I can, one, help you and make sure that you get the proper system for yourself at the best price and budget for yourself. But I need to know so that I can then enter your information and have you guys ship those supplements out. So if anybody,
that way, it also we get a contribution, which is really important because that allows us to do all this stuff.
It is my biggest blessing and the point of pride is my ability to donate money to you guys so that you can continue to help the world in the mass amount and mass ways that you are. So if you're interested in this, please reach out to me on through message at H2 Water Expert, and I'll help lead you in the right direction so that we can work together.
Yeah, and you can always go to our website, go to our products and our partners page, and you'll find it there as well. So either way, you can get directly to Shayne. Thank you, Shayne, for helping.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you. See you, buddy.